Hi everyone, welcome back. This is the fourth video in the series, and if you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, please do. I want to make sure you get to see all the rest of the videos in the series. I think you'll enjoy them. So far in the series, we've talked about what self-esteem really is, how it's shaped by culture, childhood, and trauma, and how to start rebuilding it step by step. But there's one challenge that can shake even the strongest self-esteem, and that's criticism and rejection. If you've ever felt crushed by negative feedback or taken rejection too personally, this episode is for you. By the end of this video, you'll learn 3 powerful ways to handle criticism and rejection without letting it define your self-worth. So let's get into it. The first step is to separate feedback from your worth. Let's start with criticism, because at some point we're all going to hear it. Someone will comment on your work, our choices, our appearance, or our behavior. And when that happens, we have 2 options. We can take it personally and let it damage our self-esteem, or we can evaluate it without making it about our worth. Here's the key. Not all criticism is the same. There's a big difference between functional feedback and destructive criticism. Functional feedback is specific and constructive. It's meant to help you improve. Think of a coach saying, "Try adjusting your form to prevent injury." Or a friend saying, "Hey, when you said that, it came across as dismissive." Destructive criticism is vague and hurtful. It's meant to tear you down. Imagine someone saying, "You're just not good at this." Or a comment like, "Wow, you always mess things up." The first kind of feedback helps you grow. The second kind is less about you and more about the person saying it. It's the difference between you did something bad and you are bad. Next time someone criticizes you, pause and ask yourself, is this feedback specific or just an insult? Does it come from someone who wants to help me improve? Does this say more about them than it does about me? If the feedback's constructive, take what's useful and leave the rest. If it's destructive, remind yourself, this is not about my worth. The second step is to examine and redefine rejection. Rejection is a big one because no one likes feeling left out, ignored, or unwanted. And yet, rejection's a part of life. We won't always get the job, the relationship, or the opportunity that we want. And when that happens, it's easy to assume the worst. I wasn't chosen, so I must not be good enough. If they really liked me, they wouldn't have left. There must be something wrong with me. But here's the truth. Rejection is not proof of your worth. It simply means you weren't the right fit for that moment, that person, or that situation. Think about a time when you felt rejected, but later realized it was a good thing. Maybe you didn't get a job, but you ended up finding a better opportunity. Maybe someone walked away, and it saved you from a toxic situation. Rejection often redirects us to something better, but we can only see that in hindsight. Next time you feel rejected, ask yourself, could this be making room for something better? Does this rejection really define me, or is it just one moment? If I saw this from the future, would I see it differently? The way you talk to yourself after rejection determines how quickly you recover. Instead of, "I wasn't good enough," try, "That wasn't the right fit, but something else will be." Instead of, "They didn't want me," try, "I want to be where I'm valued." The third step is to strengthen your inner validation. Stop outsourcing your worth to other people's opinions. Because the truth is, you cannot control how people see you. What people think of me is none of my business. Some people will like you, some won't. Some will misunderstand you. And if your self-worth depends on their approval, you'll always feel unstable. True self-esteem comes from knowing your worth even when others don't see it. That doesn't mean ignoring feedback. It means becoming your own source of validation. Instead of waiting for someone to affirm you, practice affirming yourself. I like to think of it as creating your own platform to stand on, made by your own sense of self-worth, as opposed to the platform being based on your performance or the opinions of others. This platform can easily turn into a trapdoor, and like the coyote from the Roadrunner cartoon, you'll have nothing beneath you, and then you'll free fall. So secure your platform and have it made of all those lovely internal goodies. For the next week, I want you to do this. Every morning, remind yourself, I'm valuable no matter what happens today. When you feel rejected or criticized, ask, does this really change my worth? Before bed, write down one thing you appreciated about yourself that day. The more you practice validating yourself, the less power criticism and rejection will have over you. Because at the end of the day, your worth isn't up for debate. Now let me know in the comments, what's one self-talk habit you want to change? How do you usually handle criticism? And what's one way you'd like to improve or change? What's a time when rejection turned out to be a good thing? In the next episode, we'll cover how to set boundaries without guilt and why boundaries are essential for healthy self-worth.